Yes, we homeschool. Well, I'm Stephanie and this is Bandit. He looks too comfortable for me to ask him to get out of the video, so that's my dog. He's our tripod dog. 3 legs. He got hit by a car. Maybe a few months after we adopted him, but we're so thankful he made it, but he's our tripod dog. Anyways, thanks again for coming back to my channel. Yes, we homeschool. I'm Stephanie. I homeschool 3 kids, slowly introducing homeschooling to my 3-year-old, a very gentle approach, and I have a rising 3rd grader and a rising 8th grader. I've been homeschooling for almost 4 years. And one of the many things that I've been back and forth about is having a homeschool room or even a homeschool space. So I'm here to share with you what I've had for the last few years, the different setups that I've had. And then I'm gonna tell you if I think a homeschool room or a homeschool space is necessary. So let's get started. Hey guys, before I share with you what I've been doing for the last few years, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you like videos like this where I'm providing you with reviews, encouragement, resources, personal experiences of being a homeschool mom, and hit the notification bell if you want to be the first to know when I make a new video. Especially in the next few weeks, I have some big news, and if you want to know what that is, press that notification bell so you know exactly when I announce the big news. Okay, so homeschool space. Now, when I first started homeschooling, and I'm going to link a video below explaining what was my homeschool journey. So real quick, when I first started homeschooling, it was out of convenience. Why I homeschool now is not why I started. So, not that played a role in my homeschool space, but because I saw it as so temporary, and I thought in my mind that this was only something that was going to be short-lived, I needed to make sure my daughter, that's why I started homeschooling, didn't feel the difference between her preschool and being at home with me. So this played a huge role into the designated homeschool space that I created. And I will share pictures of that space in this video. So check it out now. So there you have it. It was, I had a sectional couch, an L sectional couch, and I kind of set it up in a way where behind the couch was her homeschool classroom space. And as you can tell, I went all out. I had a designated writing center. I had our circle time with our carpet. I had the boards. I had a schedule, and it was great. She enjoyed that a lot. But at her young age of 4, she was 4, I realized that she wanted to be up and about. She didn't want to stay in that space. And since I was still very new to homeschool, I fought that. I fought her wanting to leave that space a lot. So fast forward to when I made the decision to homeschool my son, who was at the time a rising 5th grader. I was much more comfortable with the idea of them being up and about and creating a space that invited them to feel like they could just get up and get their stuff and explore. But I was still very set on having a space. And by the time I homeschooled my oldest, we were in a new house. We still only had 3 bedrooms and I had 3 kids. So I made not the crazy idea or the crazy decision, just the decision, the out of the ordinary decision, to put all 3 of my kids in one room and then leave that 3rd space as the homeschool room. And I'll show you a picture of that also. Okay, so that I think was probably my favorite space because it was the size of a bedroom, and we had a wall with all their like artwork on it, and we had the computer in there. We had a board, we had a lot of wall space, the desks worked out nicely. So I really enjoyed that, and so did the kids. But the problem is that in that season of life, the 3 kids in one bedroom just was not ideal, especially for us because our kids are almost 5 years apart, give or take, maybe 4.5 to like 5 years apart. The sharing of a bedroom eventually kind of just taps out, right? And my youngest was not sleeping at that time yet. He was still waking up a few times during the night, interrupting the older 2. As my son got older, he didn't want to share with his younger sister. And so that had to change. So after about half of a school year, we went back. We didn't go back to any kind of room. We did what a lot of homeschooling families do, which is just homeschool in wherever. We homeschooled mainly in the dining area. Sometimes we would move to the living room. Sometimes we'd homeschool in our basement. At this time we were in Pennsylvania, so we had a basement, but our basement had no windows, and so it was naturally dark. Even if I had great lighting, but I like natural light. Excuse me. So I rarely went down there for that. So, and I actually enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed the freedom of kind of going where we all felt like we wanted to learn that day. If we wanted to cozy up on the couch, then we would do that, or we would lay blankets out in the living room and one would be there and the other one would be on the couch, or vice versa. You know, if I was in the mood where I wanted them to be a little bit more than a sit down kind of day, then we'd set up on the dining room table and I put snacks in the middle of the table. So I actually enjoyed that non-homeschool designated space a lot more than I realized. What I did realize in that, though, is that I needed a storage, something for our storage space for homeschool. But I didn't do that. I just had things in one bookshelf in my room. I had one bookshelf in my room, and I had a lot of the homeschooling stuff in there, and each of their rooms, they had their textbooks, which really wasn't too bad at all. Now, fast forward, the house we're in now, where I'm recording these videos from, most of these videos from, Um, we did have, again, like a designated space. I tried it again because I saw in the floor plan that there was an extra space that I could work with. I keep looking back there because behind the camera is my kitchen, and the kitchen has a nook area in addition to like a dining room. And so I said, you know what, we will just eat in the dining room. We don't need a breakfast nook in addition to the dining room table, and I will set up our classroom there. Then I'll show you a picture of that. So that was kind of culminating space after having had a space behind a couch, a designated space with 4 walls, no space at all. I said, this is perfect. It's open. There are windows everywhere. We have sliding glass doors. We had a window right next to it. As you can see the window right next to it. It was ideal I thought it would be ideal for a homeschool space. And I had a double bookshelf, the works. But you know, my son started working much more independently the same year that we got here. It's something that I was slowly teaching him, and he got the hang of it just this last year, which is beautiful. It's a blessing to see him work independently and for the most part efficiently. We had a few hiccups with language arts, but nothing that I know he hasn't already overcome, and he'll be fine for his 8th grade. So as he started working more independently in his room, then because he wanted it to be a little bit quieter, he didn't want to hear my then 2, almost 3 young 3-year-olds running around, or my daughter who was constantly asking me questions because she was only in 2nd grade. I said, fine, no problem. Then I realized, well, the space feels a little bit big with just my daughter, and really the demands of having a toddler around. I was never in that space. I would sit down with her, get up, have to go somewhere else. We have a 2-story house, it's a townhouse, and so sometimes I'd have to go up with the baby, come back down, and I decided, you know what, this space could be better served by using it for something else. And so we cleared out our homeschooling space, and we went back to all their individual homeschooling things, went to their rooms, and I had one bookshelf where I kept the rest of the homeschooling material. So I had to downsize and simplify again, which really that's how my goal in everything, including my home, how I dress, everything is minimal, downsize, less is more. I've been doing this for years now. So it only made sense that that thought process would eventually catch up to me with homeschooling, even though it's very tempting to buy all the things homeschooling, and it's something I still struggle with, trust me. So we ended up, like I said, Leslie has her things in her room, Ruben has his in his room, one bookshelf with all the other homeschool material. And that breakfast nook, it's quite large, actually became our dining room space, and what was the dining room space, I'm putting it this way, became kind of like the play area for my toddler. Because again, we have 2 stories, his bedroom's upstairs, and the up and down with the toys, it just doesn't make sense for this season of life. So I better utilize the spaces. We are moving in a few months, God willing. We bought a new construction home, it's being built. You know, God willing, it all works out the way it's supposed to, you never know. But in that space, although the house is much larger than the one we live in. There is no, I can't really find a designated space for a homeschool room or a homeschool space. There isn't even really a nook. So the house is larger in the sense where all the kids are gonna have a bedroom. The kitchen is larger and things, but there's not like a fifth den or a separate or a hallway where I can kind of make into a room, you know? So we're gonna stick to what we've been doing. Leslie will have her stuff in her room. Ruben will have his stuff in his room. Because we have a much bigger garage, I plan on getting some storage in there to put the rest of the homeschooling things that don't have a place in her room or in his room. And we will be homeschooling, mostly me and my daughter, wherever. On the kitchen island. We have a kitchen island in this new house, so we might spend a lot of time there, or in the living room, or in her room, or sometimes when I have my mom coming over to watch the baby, I will take Leslie and we'll go somewhere else to homeschool. So those are the future plans. Now, what I think is ideal? Well, I think that's really, there's no wrong or right. I know, not many, but I know some homeschool families that have a room, they need a room, they thrive off of room. And even they may homeschool outside of that space, but they want a room, and that works for them. I think that for myself, I think having a designated space or even a designated room for homeschooling encourages me to accumulate things that are not necessary. And so for me, no homeschool room and no homeschool space is best, because it keeps things neater and less is more. So those are my 2 cents on a homeschool room, homeschool space. I would love to hear what you have. You can email me your homeschool space, your homeschool pictures. I love to see homeschool rooms and homeschool spaces. Oh my goodness, I may not have one or may not make one, but I love to see them as an outsider, or if I go to somebody's house, I'm like, this is awesome. And then I'll try it at my house and say, never mind. So please email me your pictures, comment below telling me if you have one or if you don't have one, share your opinion with me. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit that notification